All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto the Most High God, Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah, who the world calls Christ. It's your brother Yaquab, HOIGA. And as usual, we chopping down these doctrines and false holidays or holidays. And unless you've been living under a rock, this week serves as Hell-O-Ween, right? So today's video is to, uncover the ancient origins of this folly day, give us some understanding how it came to America, how it started, and why we shouldn't be doing it, right? So as you can see, this is from history.com, updated October 25th, which was literally 2 days ago. Anybody can look this up. As you know, the white man, he doesn't hide anything, right? He always puts it in front of your face, right? So we're just going to read a little bit about this, see where it came from and why we shouldn't be dealing with it, right? We're going to start with the ancient origins of Halloween. And it reads, Halloween's origins date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, pronounced Samhain. The Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago, mostly in the area that is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, celebrated their new year on November 1st. So this Halloween origin dates back to the original Celts, who were the Japhetic people. And they mostly inhabited the lands of, Ireland or Irie, the original Ireland, Scots. They were the original Scots, Wales, Britain, Central Europe. You see what I'm saying? So those were the original Japhites, and they celebrated Samhain as a year-end festival, right? And it reads, this day marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of year that was often associated with human death. So this is what they would associate this with, death. You see what I'm saying? The white man just took this and made it worse. Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. On the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain, when it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to earth. You see what I'm saying? And, they put this is no secret. They put this everywhere. They just made a kids movie called Coco in observation of what they would call Hallows Eve or whatever. But they made a whole children's movie where on this one day, the living and the dead was able to interact, right? So let's read up a little bit about Samhain. And it reads, Samhain is a pagan religious festival originating from an ancient Celtic spiritual tradition. In modern times, Samhain is usually celebrated from October 31st to November 1st to welcome in the harvest and usher in the dark half of the year. Celebrants believe that the barriers between the physical world and the spirit world break down during Samhain, allowing more interaction between humans and denizens of the other world. So they believe at this time of year, they're able to interact with the dead because of the exchange of the daylight for darkness. So now with this marking the coldest, darkest time of the year, you see that? The white man even calls this time of year going into the new year, which the new year, as we know it, starts in the spring when life starts to be reborn. Trees start to grow back, birds come back to fly, things of that nature. The wildlife comes out of hibernation. But these people, the original Celts, and of course the white man, believe that this is the new year, right? So that's what Samhain was about. Now let's find out about it coming to America. The celebration of Halloween was extremely limited in colonial New England because of the rigid Protestant belief systems here or there. Halloween was much more common in Maryland and the southern colonies. So this wasn't widespread back in, I think, with the 1800s. It wasn't widespread. Only a select few we're celebrating these things. You see what I'm saying? And it reads, as the beliefs and customs of different European ethnic groups and the American Indians meshed, a distinctly American version of Halloween began to emerge. The first celebrations included play parties, which were public events held to celebrate the harvest. Neighbors would share stories of the dead, tell each other's fortunes, dance, and sing. So right there is, it's all about mythology, witchcraft, fortune telling, dancing, singing, getting drunk, things of that nature. This is the white man putting now his spin on the original Japhetic festival of Samhain, right? A little more. In the second half of the 19th century, America was flooded with new immigrants. These new immigrants, especially the millions of Irish, you see that? So this is the fake white man flooding this land and spreading his ideology, as he usually does. The Irish potato famine helped to popularize the celebration of Halloween nationally. So in the early 19th century, or before then, it wasn't that popular. You know what I mean? Everybody wasn't doing it. It was only limited to certain places. But now here comes the white man from Europe who's already stole another nation's identity and their customs, put his twist on it. Now he's forcing it on everybody else. You see what I'm saying? Just like what the white man does, right? So let's get a little bit more. Let's see how else the white man put his spin on it. Let's go to history of trick-or-treating. Again, borrowing from European traditions, Americans began to dress up in costumes and go house to house asking for food or money, a practice that eventually became today's trick-or-treat tradition. Has nothing to do with the winter harvest, has nothing to do with what the original Celtics were doing. Now the white man's putting his spin on it, making it worse. It's already bad enough that you got the Japhites out here worshiping the dead, celebrating the dead, thinking they can interact with the dead in all kind of manner of witchcraft, necromancy, wizardry, things of that nature. Now the white man took that and he took it a step further. Now he's going house to strangers, asking for food and money. And it gets worse. Young women believed that on Halloween they could divine the name or appearance of their future husband by doing tricks with yarn, apple parings, or mirrors. So now, not only are you going house to house asking for food and or money, now you got women into witchcraft and sorcery thinking they can predict the future, their future husband. That's where you get that yarn game from. Women would do, I think it's called cat's cradle or something like that. Apple pairings, they shave off apples, throw them up in the air, and whatever letter they can spell out of it, that's the name of your husband. Or they're looking in mirrors and, you know what I mean, try to predict. So now they're doing that, which ultimately evolved into, you know, the Halloween parties we know today. Our women dressing up as something slutty. They got to be a slutty lion, slutty scarecrow, slutty witch, vampire, whatever. All of that to woo men. You see what I'm saying? But that's it on that. This is the origin of Halloween. It's full of witchcraft, necromancy, you know what I mean? All manner of wickedness. And the Most High told us to not follow in the ways of our oppressors. Matter of fact, let's get that. We'll get that in Proverbs 3. We'll start off with that. 3 and 31. And it reads, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Don't envy your oppressor, want to be like him. I want to see if I can predict who my husband is going to be. Or I'm going to go out there and ask for some food and money as strangers that you don't even know. You see what I'm saying? I want to celebrate Halloween. No. Envy not your oppressor and choose none of his ways. Don't even deal with this devil or any other nation outside of that with some weird customs and things that have nothing to do with us serving the Lord or us as a people. You see what I'm saying? Let's go to the law. We're going to get Deuteronomy 18. We're going to start at verse 9. When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. Although this isn't the land that the Most High gave us, it is the land of our captivity. Doesn't mean we have to follow after their ways, after their abominations. You see what I'm saying? Verse 10, there shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire. Even though this is deal with physical sacrificing of your children, because this is what the nations used to do. But spiritually, by you letting them go out and trick or treat and put on stupid costumes and go house to house and ask for candy and do tricks or whatever, that's you still passing them through the fire, right? And it reads, or that useth divination, which is like fortune telling and things of that nature, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. All of these are things that we pretend and act like and dress up as on this folly day called Hell-O-Ween. You see what I'm saying? None of this the Most High is dealing with. You see what I'm saying? Verse 12. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord, and because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee. So this is why he got rid of the nations of Canaan, which we were going into. But also spiritually, this is why the Most High is going to put all these nations in check for doing these various acts that the Most High hates. And what makes it worse, we're following after them. You see what I'm saying? Let's get a few more scriptures. Let's go to, we're going to get 1 Samuel, and we're going to get the account of Saul doing this. We'll start at verse 15. And it reads, and Samuel said to Saul, now this is when Samuel went to the lady who was a necromancer. She had a familiar spirit, and he asked her to raise up Saul from the dead, right? And it reads, and Samuel said to Saul, why hast thou disquieted me to bring me up? And Saul answered, I am sore distressed, for the Philistines make war against me, and God is departed from me, and answereth me no more, neither by prophets, nor by dreams. Therefore I have called thee, that thou mayest make known unto me what I shall do. So not only did Saul raise Samuel up from the dead, but now he's asking Saul to prophesy unto him, even while he's dead. You see what I'm saying? Verse 16. Then said Samuel, wherefore then dost thou ask me, seeing the Lord is departed from thee and is become thine enemy? Why are you asking me? You see what I'm saying? 17. And the Lord hath done to him as he spake by me. For the Lord hath rent the kingdom out of the hand and given it to thy neighbor, even to David. Because thou obeyedest not the voice of the Lord, nor executed his fierce wrath upon Amalek. Therefore hath the Lord done this thing unto thee this day. So the Most High took the spirit from Saul because he didn't follow that commandment to destroy Amalek. Not only that, verse 18, moreover, the Lord will also deliver Israel with thee into the hand of the Philistines. And tomorrow shalt thou and thy sons be with me. Since you raised me from the dead, now the nation of Israel is going into captivity under the Philistines, and you and your sons are going to be put to death for it. The Lord also shall deliver the host of Israel into the hand of the Philistines. You see what I'm saying? That's for because Saul raised Samuel up from the dead, which we're going to get that in the law, Exodus 22 and 18. Because if when you read that chapter in Samuel prior, he put away all the people that had familiar spirits and witches and things like that. He cast them out. So when he went to this female who had the familiar spirit, he promised her that he wouldn't do anything to her as long as you raise up Saul for me. You see what I'm saying? Which violated another commandment. Exodus 22 and 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. You see what I'm saying? While we're out here dressing up as witches and warlocks, you see what I'm saying? The Most High can't stand that. He hates that. You see what I'm saying? This ain't nothing new. These are things that we've always been doing when we dealing with the other nations. You see what I'm saying? Let's get another one. Let's get another account of that. Let's get 1 Kings 14. I'm going to read verse 15. For the Lord shall smite Israel as a reed is shaken in the water, and he shall root up Israel out of this good land, which he gave to their fathers, and shall scatter them beyond the river, because they have made their groves provoking the Lord to anger. So those groves are dealing with temples of worship, things of that nature, right? So it's the same way where when you're putting pumpkins on your doorstep, you putting the fake spider webs all in your bushes, you got the stickers of the witches and the skeletons all over your windows and on your front door, things of that nature. That's you making groves in observance of Halloween, which we should not be dealing with. You see what I'm saying? Let's get another one. Let's go to First Maccabees. We're going to start at 1 and 11. And it reads, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this is our problem. Since we feel like we want to be accepted, so now we got to partake in these folly days and these hella days and things of that nature to be accepted by these other nations. You see what I'm saying? When the Most High told us to not make covenants with the other nations. You see what I'm saying? Let's get that. Let's get that in Exodus. Let's see, Exodus 34 and verse 12. And it reads, take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee. And everything we do, anytime we try to follow after these other nations, you know what I'm saying, celebrate their customs and their culture, it's always detrimental and a trap to us. You see what I'm saying? Verse 13, but ye shall destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves. We're supposed to not partake in any of their customs. Matter of fact, we're supposed to be speaking out against them. You see what I'm saying? Let's go back to First Maccabees. First Maccabees 1, and we're going to jump down to verse 43. And it reads, yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion. We consented to his religion, his culture, his fake holidays, things of that nature, and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. You see what I'm saying? Verse 44. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land. You see what I'm saying? So back in the early 1900s, they spread word by, they taught it in schools, newspapers, commercials, billboards, all of this. Celebrate Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. You see what I'm saying? And we eventually was like, yeah, we should celebrate. We want to be part of them. We got to celebrate and follow after him. You see what I'm saying? Verse 45. And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days. The same way they curse and mock our feast days today. They curse and mock Passover, first fruits, tabernacles, feast of dedication, things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? It's the same way. It's nothing new. 46. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice wine's flesh and unclean beasts. This is nothing new. We set up groves going back to, like I mentioned before, how you decorating your yard, you making haunted houses in your house. You see what I'm saying? Throwing Halloween parties and all that. Those are all groves unto their folly days. You see what I'm saying? That's you offering unto them. You see what I'm saying? And taking part in this folly day. You see what I'm saying? Let's get another scripture. We're going to go to, let's see, 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 10 and 21. And it reads, ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. So you get the people out here talking about, well, we believe in God. I believe in God. I just do this for the kids. It's just Halloween. There's nothing wrong with it. That's you trying to sit at the Lord's table and the table of the devil at the same time. You can't serve two masters. That's where that's coming from. You see what I'm saying? They starting to celebrate Halloween in the Christian church now. You see what I'm saying? That's supposed to be the Lord's house, allegedly to them, but they're still celebrating the Day of the Dead. You see what I'm saying? Satan's holiday. Let's get another one. We're going to go to Ephesians. I'm going to get 5 and 11. And it reads, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. You see that? So we're not even supposed to be partaking and dealing with nothing that's representative of the dead and evil and darkness. You see what I'm saying? The white man loves darkness. All these other nations love darkness. We're not supposed to love dark. We're supposed to be the people of the light. You see what I'm saying? And we're supposed to reprove them for it, which is the purpose of this video. And I'm sure many other brothers and camps is going to be making videos as well, reproving this wicked folly day. You see what I'm saying? Let's get one more. We're going to go to 1 Peter. We're going to get 5 and 8, right? Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, is a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So we're supposed to be sober and vigilant in this thing. You see what I'm saying? Because our adversary, the devil, is trying to the white man's trying to bring us back into this world. That's his job. These other nations want you back into this world. So now they're trying 10 times harder, and we're supposed to be vigilant in this thing, and sober, meaning of discernment, dealing with discernment. We should be able to understand what's happening, what's going on out here, and stay away from those things. You see what I'm saying? Last one, we'll get 1 Thessalonians 5 and 22. It's a classic. This is a classic. It's self-explanatory. Abstain from appearances, abstain from all appearances of evil, even though you might not be practicing witchcraft or all of these other things, worshiping of the dead physically, but by you participating in this, you might as well be. You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's not what it is, it's what it looks like. You see what I'm saying? So with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto the Most High God, Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah, who the world calls Christ. It's your brother Yaikwab, HOIGA. Shalom.